Oh, hello guys. So today I'm going to be talking about possibly one of the most important things to improve your health and also with weight loss. And that thing, of course, is sleep. So let's get into the video. So sleep is a basic fundamental human need. We all need it, and we all need enough of it, and we all need sufficient quality of it. And lack of sleep causes hundreds, if not thousands, of different problems related to your health and weight, and it just basically ruins the way your body works. So like I said, we need enough sleep. If we don't get enough sleep, you're not going to be functioning how you should be. So some of the most important and serious health effects caused by lack of sleep, we've got things like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, even Alzheimer's, and of course obesity as well. And all these things ultimately lead to an early death. So lack of sleep is linked to early death. But also we've got immediate death caused by lack of sleep as well, in terms of things like accidents. So over every year, thousands of people die in things like car accidents due to lack of sleep, falling asleep at the wheel. So as I mentioned before, sleep is a basic fundamental human need. We all need it. And as an adult, you need between 7 and 8 hours per night. But it's not just the quantity, but the quality of sleep that you get as well. So sleep is split into two main types. You've got REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement, and you've got non-REM sleep. So this non-REM sleep is really important, and people are often lacking in it. So I'm just going to pop up on the screen 2 examples of my sleep from my Fitbit sleep tracker. And one night I got over 9 hours sleep, so that's quite a lot, right? But the deep sleep was only 47 minutes, and I felt terrible the next day. I didn't feel very good at all. Now the next day I only got 7 hours and 30 minutes sleep. However, I got 1 hour and 44 minutes of deep sleep. In terms of deep sleep, this is a lot, or this is a good amount, and I felt really good. So even though I had a lot less sleep, I felt better because the quality of the sleep was better. So the quality is just as important as getting enough sleep. Getting too much sleep with not enough deep sleep, you're not going to feel good the next day. So when you don't get enough sleep or enough quality of sleep, it's really hard to lose weight. And this is for about 4 main reasons. So number one is that when you have a lack of sleep, your hunger hormones go up. So you get a lot hungrier the next day. So you find it a lot harder to control your calories. So number 2 is a reduction in insulin sensitivity. So this makes it harder for your body to control blood sugar levels. And in the future, this can lead to diabetes as well, which causes a host of different problems, which again leads to early death. And one of the issues as well is linked to increased hunger, because your body can't get the nutrients it needs to that are in your body into the cells. So again, it's harder to control your calorie intake. Number 3 is that because you're feeling tired if you've had a lack of sleep, people that are used to using food to control their emotions, then they'll just tend to eat more anyway because they want to feel better. So again, you'll be eating more calories. And finally, number 4, because you are tired, you will tend to rest more, move less, so expend less energy, so you won't need as many calories. So again, it's harder to lose weight because of this reason. So I'm sure the question you have now is, how can I sleep more? How can I get better quality sleep? And yes, I'm going to answer that question, but just before, I'd like to describe and explain a bit more how sleep works. So one of the main things that controls your sleep cycle is lightness and darkness, light and dark. And this interacts with your circadian rhythm to release different hormones at different times of the day to make you either feel drowsy or awake. And the 2 main hormones involved in sleep are melatonin and cortisol. So as it gets dark in the evening, your body starts to produce melatonin. So melatonin rises and your cortisol level comes down. And this induces sleep. Now in the morning, the opposite happens. So your melatonin level will come down as your cortisol comes up. So that causes you to wake up. So melatonin is like a drowsiness hormone, and cortisol is a stress hormone. It causes you to wake up. Stress is good, stress is essential, but too much stress is not good, of course. But yeah, stress is an essential part of being human. It's what wakes you up in the morning. It's what causes you to release energy and do things. Without it, you wouldn't be able to exist. So these hormones, melatonin and cortisol, are often not working properly because of basically our environment and how we as humans have changed over the last few thousand years. So to start with, melatonin, which is meant to rise as it gets dark, we often have lights on in the evening, also TV screens and phone screens. This affects the production of melatonin and makes it harder to get to sleep. On the opposite end of the scale, cortisol, like I said, is a stress hormone and it's essential, but we often have too much cortisol for that same reason before. So a lot of light, a lot of stress, so physical, emotional and hormonal stress causes elevated levels of cortisol. So in the evening when we're meant to be, when the levels of melatonin are meant to be rising, they don't because of the huge amount of light we have when it's meant to be dark, so the cortisol levels remain high. So it's really, really difficult for some people to get to sleep because of this reason. But also cortisol during the day is often elevated too much because of the increased stressors in today's life. Like I said, physical, emotional and hormonal stresses which cause it to be too high. So when it does come down, it doesn't come down enough in the evening for the melatonin to take effect. Some of the things that do reduce cortisol are carbs, carbohydrates and alcohol. So often people get cravings for carbs and alcohol in the evening because they need to reduce that stress. So your body is looking for something to reduce that stress and increase the melatonin. So yeah, people often go for the carbs and the alcohol. However, of course, this is bad if you want to lose weight because number one, an increase in calorie intake from the carbs. Not necessarily carbs are bad, but increased calorie intake from carbs. But also alcohol, although it makes you drowsy, it reduces the quality of sleep. So remember, I mentioned before how important the quality of sleep is. So both those things help you get to sleep, but they are negative in terms of weight loss and also the quality of your sleep, which affects the next day as well. So there are a number of strategies that you can implement to get better sleep, some do's and some don'ts. So I've got a big list of stuff here I've written down, so I'm just going to read them out to you basically. So number one is don't have large meals before you're going to sleep, just before you're going to sleep, because number one, it increases your body temperature, which is not very good for sleep, but also increases digestion activity again, which is not so good for sleep. Number two is avoid caffeine. So especially some people who are very sensitive to caffeine, and caffeine stays in your system for 4 to 6 hours. So drinking coffee, having tea, even chocolate and things like Coke before bed have a small amount of caffeine in them as well. This can make it extremely difficult to sleep because caffeine does the opposite to melatonin. It's a stimulant, so it increases cortisol. So remember what I said about cortisol. Avoid alcohol. Alcohol I mentioned before, it reduces the quality of the sleep. It might make it easier to get to sleep, but it reduces the quality of the sleep. So you're going to wake up more and your next day is going to be compromised as well. So avoid strenuous activity before bed as well. So exercising heavily because it increases your heart rate, increases your temperature, and again makes it harder to sleep. You want to limit your water, so don't drink a lot of water, a lot of liquid before bed because obviously it's going to make you want to get up in the night as well. Limit any naps during the day to 20 minutes or less because you don't want to use up that sleep time during the day because it's going to be harder to get to sleep, otherwise you're not going to need the sleep. So also if you need the nap in the day, you're probably not getting enough sleep. So save the nap for at least sort of less than 20 minutes or save it for just sleeping at night anyway. And also don't fall asleep in front of the TV. If you fall asleep in front of the TV, you don't have a good enough bedtime routine and you're obviously tired and need to go to bed anyway. So some do's as well. So have a regular bed and wake up time. This helps get your body into a rhythm, helps you fall asleep and get up at the same time. And make sure you're doing this on the weekends as well, otherwise you'll muck the rhythm up. And have a wind down routine in the evening that you go through some steps. So an hour to 2 hours before you go to bed, have a routine that you go through to get your body into that sort of relaxation state. And this will lead into some of the other things I'm going to suggest now. So you want to limit artificial and bright lights in the evening, and that includes TV, your phone, room lights, things like that, and especially blue light. So blue light is what is contained in daylight, which causes the cortisol rise. Maybe have some extra carbs in the evening. This will help relax you, but make sure they fit in with your daily calorie needs. Also get enough natural daylight during the day to make sure you are awake and make sure you're not drowsy during the day. So if you work in a dark office, maybe try and get out at lunchtime. Make sure you just get enough lights. Hopefully if you can sit next to a window, things like that. So in the evening, keep your bedroom cool and dark. So you don't want to be sleeping in a really warm environment. This makes it harder to sleep. You want to be, I can't remember the exact temperature. I'll pop it up on screen, what it's meant to be, but it's below 20 degrees Celsius. But also make sure your bedroom is dark, and this goes back to the light. You want it as dark as possible. And take a warm bath or shower before going to bed. This helps drop your body temperature a bit afterwards and helps you sleep. A really important thing is brain dump. So it really helps having maybe a pad of paper next to your bed, just to get out any thoughts that are going around in your mind. So especially with me, I find that if I've got something I need to do the next day, or I'm thinking about something, I find it hard to get to sleep because it's in my mind and I'm scared I might forget it or something. Brain dumping, so writing down thoughts or things you need to do on a bit of paper, helps release that from your brain and helps you relax and sleep. So the next one is blue light blocking glasses. So they look pretty funny, but they help block blue light from lights in your house, TV screens, phone screens in the evening, and help reduce that cortisol and increase the melatonin. So these are quite expensive, they're about £40-50, but if it helps you sleep, if it helps you get a better quality life, if it helps reduce the risk of diseases, if it helps you lose weight, they definitely are worth it. It makes everything look a bit orange, but you get used to it after a while, and I find these really help. The next thing is melatonin supplements. So in the UK you can't buy these, you can buy them over the internet from America. You can get them on prescription, but if your body has difficulty producing melatonin because of stimulation of light, etc., then this can help induce that natural cycle of sleep. So I don't always take these, but they're especially good when you travel and go through different time zones and wake up in the middle of the night when you should be awake in your time zone, and it helps you get back to sleep. And the last one is a sun stimulation lamp. So in the UK, in the winter and many countries, it doesn't get light until about 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's very hard to wake up when it's still dark, because remember I said melatonin is high when it's dark and the cortisol doesn't get released until the sun comes out. So we want to kind of create an artificial situation to wake you up. So there's something called a sun lamp, which I've got here. And it basically, you can set it to whatever time you want to wake up, and it simulates the sun rising. So whatever time you want to get up, you will have a natural sunrise in your bedroom, which will help get you up without that sort of thing of in the middle of the darkness on the winter mornings. So sleep, guys, really, really, really important, so important. One of the best medications for so many health issues, and especially weight loss and obesity. So try and get enough sleep, but also enough quality. So that list of things, the do's and don'ts, try and work on some of those. Yes, it can be hard, like things like TV and phones in the evening. It's difficult to try and reduce them because they're habits. But just try it for a week or so, see how you feel. If you can't, if you need to work in the evening as well, things like the blue blocking glasses, they help, and also melatonin as well. But don't use it regularly because you can muck up your hormones. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like, share and comment as always, and I'll see you in the next one.